Hey,
Hey. Looks like Stephanie and Jane are here.
okay. Maybe give them a half minute. Anything for us to review that'd be helpful for you as we go into it?
I don't think so. Tom is the new COO. We met him last month and he'd asked for some additional reports. So I do have those to
Excellent.
show them.
That's right. I remember that. So he's the COO.
Yeah.
Are there any other new people?
I know they're hiring one more, but they haven't sent over information yet. So I don't know if he's totally onboarded or they're still in the process.
Got it. Okay, cool. Tom, in that type of position, is probably wanting to make his mark too. So some of this would be giving him the ability to play in the sandbox and kind of form it to what he'd like it. You know, I want to make sure that we support him well. And at the same time, stay the course with what we got going on.
Yeah. I was going to email him the reports and then it would be so hard to explain over email. I figured I'd just review it today.
Yeah, use this time to do that. That sounds great.
Looks like we have Stephanie, Jane, Kevin, and Aaron. So
Okay.
I can go ahead and admit them.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, howdy, team.
Hello.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi, Jane. I see your name and I hear you. Kevin, good to see you. Is Tom going to be joining us today?
Don't know.
Okay.
Tom is doing a guide trip today.
Guide trip.
Fishing guide.
Okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah,
All right.
he has Workman Outfitters. This is his other company. Does all the Grand River fishing trips.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it salmon season or what's the like?
Salmon and steelhead are, he's starting to book for that.
Okay, because I know that's like a fall thing, right? Typically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went bass fishing the other day with him.
That's
We were
fun.
Very successful.
Well, sweet. We'll have to keep that in mind. That would be a lot of fun. Have we talked about smoking meat? I'm really into it. I'm real like Holland actually. Y'all know about Grilla
Yep.
Grills?
Mhm.
Good guys over there. So I got a Holland assembled Grilla Grill. And it's just been my jam. And I put some salmon on there a little bit. But you know, I'm not myself a fisherman. So if I went out, I'd probably come back empty-handed. Might need to take Tom with me.
I'll say we caught about 30 fish the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How big were they?
We had some that were 16, 17.
Aaron, you know where I'm going with this. Oh, one of those bass, they're like 4 feet.
Aaron said that. Mine were measured. It's truth.
Yeah.
Truth.
Oh, good. Well, hey, it's good to see everybody. And Stephanie, I know you're laughing with us. I just can't see you laughing, but good to have you as well. We got all sorts of fun stuff to go through today. I'll kind of turn it over to Grace. Let us get kicked off. But... Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. All right. I see. Nice.
I'm the non-vaccinated. I'm trying to stay a little bit further away, so.
Okay. Gotcha. No problem. Yeah.
All right. Let me screen share and we can get started. Let's see. I don't think you guys have seen one of our new reports yet. So we just transitioned the document to more of a presentation view to fit better on your screen. And then we've added in some charts. So nothing's missing. We've just added a few things and switched up the design. So headlines, we've launched the Facebook ads and we've got some data to review with you for those. The September blog, what is a wealth management advisor and how do you know if you need one? Do you guys know if that one was sent to compliance?
I think that I did send that to them, but I will double check that. Their compliance is a little hard to follow. So if I'm ever, seems like I'm missing something, just bug me.
Okay, no problem. We've got some time. This one will post September 3rd, I believe. And then we can chat through the rest of this towards the end of our call. We can jump into analytics. So this is a new chart. This is traffic acquisition, so where your website traffic is coming from. The green is referral, so that's another website directing traffic to your website. So we saw a huge growth in referral this month, and that's because of Facebook ads. So that's where a lot of that green traffic is coming from. The yellow section is none, so that's people that are either Google can't track it, so maybe it's like an email, you have your website in your email signature, or most of the time it's people that are typing in westmichiganadvisors.com in their browser and coming directly to the website. And then that blue section is organic. So that's what people are searching. And last month, Tom had asked what some of those words were that people were searching in Google to find you guys. And so I've pulled that list for us to review as well. So session duration. We did see a drop here. We're down about 62%. We're at 42 seconds. So this is a little bit lower than we'd like to see, but this is not surprising with the increased traffic from the Facebook ads, since that traffic isn't as qualified. We're not surprised that they're not staying on the site as long. So this isn't terrible news. It's not something that we're worried about. And as we continue to add blogs, we'll see this go back up too. And then the chart below is, oh, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, just to reiterate, anytime you're doing like direct advertisements and ads, to Grace's point, you're throwing a lot of people or throwing your website in front of a lot of people and giving them a chance to interact with it. So, you know, some of those people by design will not resonate with the message. We're really trying to target the ones that do. And so that's why we do several months of ads to really focus in on the demographic, using the data from each month to enhance them. So that's part of, you know, first month of trying, you know, the ads for you guys with this.
Yeah.
42 is actually better than 10. You know, it could be 10 seconds too. So, I mean, there is some connection, which we're very thankful for.
In our mark here, we're looking for 1 minute. So we're not terribly far from that.
Mhm.
And then the chart below is just broken down by day. Then next we have new users. So since we were running those Facebook ads, we saw a huge jump in new users. So you had 274 new users to the website last month. And then this chart below is also broken out by day. So this is just nice. Like if you are posting on social media or you sent out an email, you can kind of see if that did bring people back to the website. Next, we have sessions. So I think we've talked about this before, but new users is unique views. So those people are only counted once. Sessions counts how many times someone comes to the website, and they can be counted more than once. So if they're coming back, that's where we'll see it. And this one jumped 46.9%, and we're at 332. So we can see some of those people that were coming came again and were interested and qualified. So good news there. And then the same chart below is just broken out by day. And then this is that keywords list. So we were able to pull this out of Google Analytics, and you can see this is what people are searching in Google to make it to your website. So some of them make a lot of sense, like West Michigan Advisors, and then some of them are a little confusing, like Western Advisors, but they're still clicking through to check it out. Financial advisors. And That one was on there twice. Oh, advisor and advisors is the difference there. And then financial planner, Holland, Michigan, Aaron Holland, financial advisor, Michigan, financial advisors, Michigan. How often should you meet with your financial advisor? That was one of our blogs. So that's why that's coming up. And then financial advisor, Michigan.
So what I want to know on this, Aaron, is how many other Aarons are advising in the greater Holland area? Somehow you made the celebrity list according to Google. I'm just saying.
I don't know any.
So
It's famous.
I guess, or infamous.
And I'll send this in the follow-up so Tom can see it as well, but I just thought it'd be interesting for you guys to see, and he had asked for that last month.
Any questions about that, Kevin,
Yeah.
from your perspective?
So pretty
And
good,
then-
straightforward.
Then Tom had also asked about like page flow, so where people are moving throughout the website. So this graphic looks crazy confusing, but I can walk you through it. So the white section is just like the link that somebody's clicking or where they're starting their journey on the website. So that's why we see most of the green section is the same. So you'll see the second white box is the retirement workbook. And then the 4th, 5th, and 6th are all the retirement workbook page. Google is tracking them separately based on like where they're coming from. So the bulk of those people are coming from the Facebook ad. Like the top section was organic, so they're finding that through search, but that's just why that's repeated. So we can see the people that started moving to the second column here. Most people came to the retirement planning workbook page. And then they traveled to either the slash is the home page. That's how Google reports that. Or they moved to, they stayed on the workbook page. Then you can see people that started on the home page back to the second column. They either moved to who we are, which is really common. Your about page is usually the second most visited page, or they move to the blog. So that traffic, we really like to see that. They're moving exactly where we hope they are. And then the workbook page is the same. They either moved like to the who we are or stayed. This one page is the disclosures. So some people who came in from the retirement planning page were going to the disclosures page. And then we see people who went to the home page, went to who we are. And then from who we are in the 4th green column here, they're either going back to the home page, to the blog, or looking at the services page. So we're not quite seeing people click through to the schedule a call page yet, but I think as the site continues to build long-term SEO and people continue to come back, we'll start to see that show up more. Any questions on this?
No.
Nope.
All right. And then just a summary here. So pros, we saw a good increase in the number of sessions and users this month. Social traffic increased because of that ad. So we did have 283 visitors to the retirement planning workbook page. So we got a lot of good traffic out of the Facebook ad. Cons, we did see that average engagement time decrease, which is to be expected. And overall, we're feeling pretty good. So now we've got the Facebook ads report. So you can see you got 1,039 clicks at a average cost per click of 80 cents. We reached 30,653 people. And then reach, I'm getting ahead of myself. Reach is how many people saw it, and then impressions, that number is higher because the same people saw it more than once, which is what we want to see. They say usually it takes somebody seeing an ad or your brand 9 times before they took action. So here they probably saw it about 4 times, which is not a terrible number. And so your total impressions was 145,800, and then your total ad spend was $826. So I was surprised to see, we kind of did the 2 different ads to see if one would do better than the other, but they were relatively similar, which surprised me. Do you guys have any questions about this?
Nope.
Awesome. So we
think
got 2, oh, go ahead, Rob.
one thing I'll say is, I mean, for those of you who've used or actively used Facebook, that impression can be when it shows up in your news feed, and sometimes people are scrolling through quite fast. So really our focus is on, the actual link clicks, like how many link clicks came through, and acknowledging this is the first time many of these folks, in fact, all of them, have been exposed to the West Michigan Advisors brand. It's a new name for them, a new experience for them. It's good to have that consistency over a longer time horizon than in just that 1 month. But it is very encouraging to see that people are attracted to it to the point of clicking through and having a brand experience with that landing page, and that we are very encouraged by. So just to reiterate what Grace is saying there, and because I could look at the 145,000 and say, wow, that's a lot of people, but really it's people that are scrolling through, their newsfeed, as you all have done. What that feels like. So capturing the attention, I'm focused on those 500 link clicks. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
Can you remind us of what kind of the target audience for these ads are?
I know off the top of my head, we did Holland, and there was one other town, South Haven. I know we decided to exclude Grand Rapids. I can pull the details and send them over to you, because I know we reported them for Stephanie to share with compliance. So in my follow-up email, I can share the details of that with you.
Okay, it was just a geographic, not based on age or anything like that.
Oh yeah, we also included age, income level, and then interests.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And I just wanted to check in on the CRM. Did you guys still want to hold off on that? I know you'd been toying with the idea of MailChimp.
Is that a Stephanie question?
That's my fault. I just haven't had time to actually sit down and figure out how to sign up for it and how it's going to function. So I will make a point of doing that.
Okay, no problem. And then Kevin, I just added this so it didn't fall off of my list, but I know you guys are working on new photos and bios for the new team members.
We're working on that. We've got a photographer lined up, and so we are hopefully moving forward on that.
Awesome. I'm excited to see them.
Hey, Stephanie, just circling back on that MailChimp. I'll tell you the why behind the what. There's a lot of good things that are possible once that CRM is in place. For one, as we're writing these blogs, email distribution for those could be, an opportunity for the prospects that are coming through. Automations are a possibility. There's a lot of good things that happen once that thing is in place. So I would say, sooner would be better for that to be set up. And if you just share the agency credentials with us, like even this week, if possible,
Yep.
that we can do our thing on the back end. So we could set the emails up, format them and everything for your review, and ultimately compliance sign off.
Okay, do you have a recommendation? One of the questions was, because I think there's levels of number of people that you're reaching. Is there a good place to start with that, or?
Question for you to answer that question. How's that? Can we trade questions?
Yes.
Okay. If I were to ask you right now, how many active prospects do you have on a list that are not yet converted to be client? Do you have a list currently that you'd be migrating into this?
Personally, I do not, and I guess I would defer to the advisors on that one.
Clint,
We're seeing our Facebook ads.
Shane? Okay,
My prospects called in and I don't even have an email address on a lot of them.
Right.
I'd
okay,
have to go look at CRM to see.
Yeah.
got it. So that answers not 1,000 people. Got it. So
Correct.
good, got it. Okay,
Less than 1,000.
okay. Good news, Kevin, good news. Moving forward, we'll be able to answer that weekly if we'd like to know how many prospects are in the pool and on the list, because the MailChimp would help us to manage that and categorize that. So with that being said, Stephanie, I would say the entry level MailChimp is perfectly fine. And as you continue to build and add to the list, MailChimp will be very good about telling you what your new billing rate is. I promise you that. But let's just
So,
start
okay.
small. Yeah.
So they're not gonna like, oh, sorry, you can't have any more prospects because you're only paying us $10 a month. They'll just bump you up to the next level and
They
keep taking your
want
money.
you. Yeah,
Okay,
that's SaaS, software
Great.
as a service, a subscription. So they want more and more subscribers because they want to keep billing, up and up. This is one of the
Right.
reasons why it's important for you guys to set this up on your side, and we will manage it with you. But it really is your client data in your account.
okay.
Okay.
Another thing. to note,
But
Steph-
Clint, oh sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna let Stephanie know, when we get agency access, it doesn't count us as a user. So if you have to figure out, like, I don't know if they charge by user count as well, but don't include us in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. And Shane, are you looking after those guys in the room with you too?
Oh, yeah, I'm sitting back. They're right in front of me. They're good.
Okay, you keep them in line for us, will you?
Sure.
All right, thanks.
All right, I think our last thing that's on my list is the blog. So our topic this time is how to manage sudden wealth. So I sent over the topic and a couple questions that we can go over today. So the first question is, what is sudden wealth and why does it matter?
Say sudden wealth is an inheritance for a lot of people. And for a few, a lawsuit. I've never run across a lottery winner. Anybody here got a lottery winner?
No.
Insurance proceeds?
Inheritance,
Mhm,
legal settlement, life insurance,
mhm.
selling a
Selling a
business.
business. Bitcoin?
I mean, could.
Some people are doing kind of crazy with this day trading thing. GameStop.
So
penny
this
stock.
is
No,
information you're going to use to write the blog, correct?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I think that, we have to really kind of look at what does sudden wealth mean? Because if you've been working at Hayworth for 25 years and you've been making $50,000 a year and you get a $75,000 gift, that's sudden wealth. So it all is based on where you've been. And I think sometimes, we overlook that sudden wealth can be, it may not be the dollar as much as the context of in which it happened.
Mhm. So would that be like an ESOP payment or
Yeah, it's just some people, we have clients with $200,000 with us. For them to get a $100,000 settlement, that's 50% of their portfolio. That's sudden wealth. So sudden wealth doesn't just mean winning the lottery. It's stretching where you've been. It's that's why I say finding that context of where it is, but it does need to be handled in a different way. So I do think you need to start with, what do we mean by sudden wealth?
Mhm.
And let's not overlook anyone.
would it be fair to say, if I hear you right, Kevin, in this, the whole thing, like wealth we got, but sudden wealth, it's a major change in your current landscape.
Correct.
And in that, any kind of quick change brings about emotion.
Correct.
So whether that be a saleable business, ESOP payday, or lawsuit, whatever that is, emotions are a propensity in the suddenness of that.
Yes.
If I recall one of our conversations, we agreed that 95% of what you do is counselor and psychologist, and 5% is money management. Managing people's emotions and thinking. So that's why sudden wealth is no exception.
That's the key word in that phrase,
Mhm,
not wealth, sudden. That's the key word.
mhm.
So what are some short-term and long-term effects this sudden wealth can have on someone's finances?
So that question again, Grace?
Yeah, what are some short-term and long-term effects that sudden wealth can have on an individual's finances?
Well, in the short term, it can be overwhelming. It can be confusing, overwhelming. There's a tremendous amount of choices available. So it's all of those things.
Mhm.
It also can be, a sense of relief. It can be a sense of whatever. But yeah, there are those short-term emotions are going to be different than the longer term. I think our job many times is to help people think about the longer term impact of that, and that it's life-changing potentially for them. Oftentimes I've seen sudden wealth happen, and having the discussion about how they can set themselves up financially for life, and they buy a new car instead. And those are the things that we always are having to deal with. So that's a good question. It's a very good question. And so I think it's one of those things where we have to talk about those short-term emotions and getting through those. Maybe it's exuberance, but settle it first, because the long-term impacts can be phenomenal. Power of compounding comes in.
Mhm. So on that, why is it important that someone knows how to manage that and weigh those long-term effects that it can have over buying a car instead?
Well, and I'll let Aaron and Clint and Shane speak first, and then we'll let the old guy talk.
Ask that question again.
Why is it important that someone knows how to manage sudden wealth?
Well, so I have a good example of that. Thinking of a brother and sister that received an inheritance. Kevin, you probably know who I'm talking about. The sister has spent down all of her money pretty quickly, and the brother invested it all, has continued to reinvest it for the long term, and has grown to over $1 million now. And wasn't that large of a inheritance, but he set himself up now for the long run.
Yeah. I think, yeah, Clint, Shane, go ahead before
I mean, this is maybe taking it a slightly different direction, but I've had there's some negative long-term effects as it relates to relationships if sudden wealth isn't managed properly. Unfortunately, there's been if one family member is suddenly their financial landscape changes, there can be a financial advisor can play a role in helping them navigate the pressures that spill out to other family members. If that makes sense. So there can be, it can be, besides just the X's and O's and the technical, here's what you can do. Sometimes we play defense and help them understand that how this may impact those other relationships and ways to navigate that.
Can you dive deep? Like, can I get a practical example on that, Clint? I think it's so close right there. Are you saying like, oh, Joe sold the business, got a $3 million payout, and now all of his family has their handout? Is that what you're saying?
Well, like I had a referral, a client referred her sister whose husband died unexpectedly. And now she's feuding with one of her kids because he left his life insurance and 401k and that. And one of the kids just wanted some money to get out of a bad situation and felt entitled. And so there was this pressure. Do I give this to him now? Do I share this? Because, is that what dad would have wanted? What does that mean for me? I have to provide for myself. And so there was this sudden wealth experience that created a relational problem. And actually, probably the biggest thing I did was play interference and just say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. You can't. You can say that your advisor won't allow it, whatever you need to do, because it's not in your best interest to do that. And so that was just a different impact of sudden wealth.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think a couple things come to mind. A lot of times people that receive sudden wealth don't know how to manage wealth at all. So they inherit $300,000 and they feel like it's millions and it'll last the rest of their lives. And they start spending. And I have a client that did that, and he's greeter at Walmart. And every review was, you're spending too much, until he was broke. But I think sudden wealth, as Kevin said, it's not the dollar amount, but if you're not used to managing it, you don't know what to do when you get it. And it seems like a lot. And the second one I think too is a little different. I think divorce often leads to sudden wealth for a spouse who doesn't know how to manage money. I have 4 or 5 MDs that are specialists, and their wives are inheriting half of the estate. They're getting good income, and they haven't ever really dealt with the money. And they're now they're getting sudden wealth, and they don't have a clue. And they've kind of grown up. Hey, my husband makes $800,000. We can just do whatever we want. And now they're getting, $15,000 a month, which isn't $800,000 a year. So I don't know if you call it sudden wealth, but it's a change in their financial situation that they're not ready to deal with.
I mean, this is just gold, everything. I know Grace has more than what we need, from all of your contribution in that. I'm also struck with the fact of the suddenness in that situation. Each of those divorced wives that you just referred to, Shane, it's their first time and perhaps only time navigating this space. But working with West Michigan advisors, you help lots of people over years of experience navigate this space. So while it might be the first time they're pulling that tool out and trying to figure out how to use it, it is certainly not your first time. So linking with West Michigan advisors for a variety of situations, some that you know of today and some that you won't even know till tomorrow, but you guys are here for it. That I'm thinking bloggy, in that.
Yeah, that kind of.
When you bring a Ken in, we have between all of us 140 years experience of dealing with these situations or whatever it is. There's a few of us on the plus 50 side that gives us more experience than some firms.
I like that. Plus 50. I like it.
Yeah. I'm throwing myself in, man. I'm
Kevin's been doing this for 100 years. Rob, when it comes to like retirement, we joke that, client may retire once, but collectively we retire once a week, through our clients. So, I mean, there is a lot of that, what you said rings true.
That's a great segue into my next question. What are some clear steps to make sure you manage sudden wealth right? So some examples that we pulled could be hire a team of professionals, develop a plan, set goals, What do you guys feel like those first steps should be?
Number one, give us a call.
Yeah.
Schedule a call.
If it's a sudden wealth as a result of a death or a really emotional event, we often say slow down, like just take a beat. There's so much emotion swirling around that there's an ice cream truck out here.
Sorry, we're very distracted. We're back.
I guess we'll have to do these meetings in person.
Yeah. I like that though, Clint, the slow down piece of it, because we're talking about the heightened emotions. So maybe like first step is like if you're lay out a game plan is pause. Don't take the pressure to make decisions right now. Experience the emotions that come with it and don't make any major choices. Pause.
This does get back to that short term and long term. And I think that, the first, as Max Dupree would always say, define your current reality. So when someone comes in for the first time, get the temperature of their current reality. Have they been able to manage money currently? Do they even have a 401k? So figure out where they are to begin with. Slow is that is the proper thing. Just relax first and then move on to this. There are other steps from there, but, finding out their current habits, finding out if they budget, finding out if they save regularly. Those are the first steps to really find out how to move forward. Because someone who's never had money, they've never been able to save money, they don't budget, that's a different situation than someone who's been putting money in their 401k every paycheck, they've been slowly accumulating, they live below their means. So, it's really trying to figure out where that person is starting from. And it typically is, let's pause, like Clint said, just take a deep breath first. Let's just talk through this.
I think that's good. Take a deep breath, give us a call, let's sit down for a cup of coffee. And I don't like the word free, but come by for a cup of coffee and a chat, a free consultation, whatever word you use. I don't like free necessarily. Complimentary, thank you. Yeah, complimentary review or complimentary.
Yeah.
We have decent coffee.
You can offer ice cream now. All right, so last thing here, what are some tips and reminders for managing sudden wealth? So what are things people should keep in mind? Maybe questions that someone in this position usually asks you. Are there any surprises that you've seen pop up frequently? Any tips?
Tax surprises, I think, are big. They inherit money. They do a large withdrawal to pay off the mortgage, like Aaron was saying, and don't realize the more they withdraw, the more they pay. Legal surprises pop up. Obviously financial. That's something else we can help coordinate is the legal, the accountants, the tax, and the financial.
What do you guys think of the human side of this? Like, remember, emotions are normal. Give yourself the time to feel them when a big change comes your way. Like, it's like a lasting reminder. Because I'm just thinking of a reader who's empathizing with this. It's not just transactional for them. They're scared or their major something just changed. Maybe affirming that internal narrative for them is kind of a refreshing way to conclude part of this. Then grab a cup of coffee. You don't have to do this alone. We're here to help. Something in that zone. What do you think about that, guys? And Steph?
There were 3 steps that came to mind for me. Was one, educate yourself. Avoid all or nothing strategies. And slow and steady wins the game. Because so many people, And we know it, we've seen the billboards all over town. People are throwing money, all their money into one annuity. They're trapped for 10 years with subpar results. And it
I don't know that
happens,
building.
happens all the time. So avoiding that all or nothing strategy, and yeah, slow and steady wins the game. But trying to stick to the 3 things that people can remember, right, Rob?
1, 2, 3, 3 bowling balls.
Are there anything else, any questions that you typically hear from people that have sudden wealth, or any other tips?
Yeah, I can't think of anything that we already talked about.
Mhm.
Yeah, you've covered quite a bit.
Bring a family member?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes bringing a family member,
Depending on age especially.
right,
I don't know, someone else that's helping. I don't know.
but
This has been
sometimes
really,
family
really
members are complicated too. So
Yes.
maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think we can suggest that.
Sometimes the family member can complicate it too.
Fair enough.
yeah.
You're looking for questions in this, Grace. I wonder, like, am I going to be okay? Is that a financial question that people would ask in sudden wealth? Am I going to be okay?
Mhm. I think they ask that, and sometimes, what's this really mean?
Yeah. What's this really mean for
Yeah.
me?
Mhm.
How much taxes am I gonna have to pay?
They come this generate,
Yeah,
you know, am I okay? Yeah.
it's not, it's never black and white. It's never, and this is where each situation's unique.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. This has been really, really helpful. I'll take this back to the copy team for them to put it all together for us, and then I'll send it your way. Do you guys have any other questions for us?
I don't.
I don't.
All right. Well, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to meet with us.
Thank
So
you.
good to have all of your voice in this too. Thanks for your contributions to that. It's super helpful to have that as it sets our trajectory for copy.
And Rob, Tom, and I still want to try to grab a cup of coffee with you in the next couple of weeks sometime.
Sure. What would it be? Is Tom 5 days with you, or the guiding thing? I want to make sure that is.
He usually knows his week. So typically Monday morning, we know exactly what the week's going to look like for him.
Okay.
So it's one of those things. And I don't know, just as long as you're in Byron Center, we'll just go to Starbucks there.
Sure. Okay, maybe it'd be helpful then. Maybe I pull a couple of options together and send them off to you, and then you guys can review that. And if we need to look further out, we could do that too.
Yeah.
Be happy to.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, excellent. Cool. Thanks, Kevin.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Kevin.
Bye.
That went a lot better. I think Zach will be happy.
Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. You want to hit the record button there? We'll move in.